Here we go. Get there.
Okay, we're getting there.
Yeah. We already have 82 folks waiting. Look at that. Wow.
It's going to be
I guess I want to hear
interesting.
this channeling.
They might hear me arguing with them on answers too. That's going to be fun.
Well, that would be funny. That would be interesting. Hey, guys. This is going to be an interesting night.
Yeah. Whose idea was this? You guys. Okay. Actually, might hear me arguing with them on answers too. That's going to be fun.
Well, that would be funny.
Okay. So, okay. Now, okay, let's talk about this a little bit before we get started in this. So,
do your thing.
So we put questions in the group, and we're going to go through a list of them. Does not mean they're going to answer them. It only goes by a poll towards if they want to answer it or not. So I'll either get a dead silence or I'll get a translation. Sometimes I have to put the mask on. Sometimes I don't need to put the mask on at all. But this is raw channeling and how they describe it. So, and they're not like everything I get doesn't mean I agree with everything that's coming sometimes. And there's a three-way conversation. And then sometimes my voice accent changes.
Yes.
So it's interesting, but this interpretation doesn't happen a lot. You don't see it a lot online. They don't. You see a lot where they're just laying down and they're just going through stuff, and this is different. Being able to pull questions from this realm and have them react on this side, whether they want to or not, and give you an answer. So it varies. So even sometimes when I'm on YouTube, when people present stuff, sometimes I already know the answer, and sometimes they're just channeling the information right away. It depends on how things are presented. So, and that's the thing. I mean, you don't see a lot of live this process live. You see it presented in a theater process, and this is different because I do not know what they're going to say and how it comes out. And I'm going to tell you, it's not always an angelic presence that you see that they communicate and they talk like that. And sometimes it's like very blunt in the front. So,
and Jenny needs as much room as she can on the screen for
that's
spirit.
why
so that's why I'm a little person today.
Yes, that's the only reason, because sometimes the space is different when I channel on things. So, so this is what I want you guys to do. So for this to happen, I want for this to start in your heart, in your soul. I want you to just ask the light to come in and express their love and to answer the questions as best as their capability, and that we are protected in the light as we get these answers, whatever form that is in. So it's important to understand that this is a process where it comes from on this whole interpretation.
Right.
So I'm just going to wait for 2 more minutes to see if there's other people in here. So, so this could, and this is the thing, this could be going, they could be arguing with me all night, or it could be smooth, or it can get into a question that we both don't agree. I never know, because it varies on different subjects. So, I'm going to pull the sheet up. Not that I'm really looking at it. So I'm not going to be looking in the chat because I have to concentrate on channeling instead of paying attention what people are saying. So that's why Jeep's going to interpret some information on this information that we have for questions.
Yes, we've already had tons of questions pre-submitted, so we're not going to be taking any new questions through the chat. It's going to take us a while to get through these. So,
so either when I'm doing this, if whatever the question is, either they're going to tell me look for the view through the mask of the blindfold or look through the mind's eye on this. So,
okay.
So go ahead and start with.
You ready? Okay.
With a build up
Question
to
number
the
one.
bigger ones. Start with the building up because they're personal.
You want to build up? You want this? You want this?
Yeah.
All right. You didn't prepare me for that one. Now I have to go through my papers again. Thanks, Jen. Okay.
Really, the tough ones. I mean, the ones that you're going to be like, I don't know what they're going to say.
Well, hopefully we don't want you too tired by that time either. So, okay, let's see. That. Remind me, folks, I'm just working with several screens. We're good.
Yes, I already refilled up on this stuff. This is really good.
I got mine in my copper cup.
Mm-hmm.
We're good.
It's good stuff. Okay. I might have to write too, or draw. So let me get some papers too.
Okay.
Let me grab a couple of sheets here. Hold on.
Okay, take your turn.
Okay. Okay. Okay, go ahead and start. We'll see how we're going to start this off.
All right, we'll try it this way. I'm gonna actually put it on the screen too. So.
Okay, that'll be good because then I'll know what we're talking about.
Yes. So here's our first one. How should people understand the meaning of spiritual or ancestral bloodlines in the collective awakening?
Okay, first, this is where the bloodlines. When you in the spiritual realm, it is not the DNA or bloodlines. That's the whole thing. We get to the crystalline, we get to energy. They never ever talk about DNA or bloodlines because each spirit has to make a choice of what it's serving. So that to me, what I see is a 3D effect. Is that what is that question number one?
That's 34. That's 34. We're at the lower questions. You didn't want the higher questions.
Let me get my. Can you now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I just had to move my mic. Okay, what question are we at?
That one was 34. We're at the lower questions because you didn't want the tougher ones right away.
34.
Sorry.
Okay, hold on. No, it's fine. Let's do this.
34 and going backwards.
How do you know? Okay. How should people understand the meaning of spiritual ancestral bloodline and the awakening of the collective? Because everything. I'm on. Text me. Um, so everything with this, I want you to understand a crystal line and a spirit. Forget about the bloodline because a spirit has to make a choice um, of its origin, what it's going to be, how it's going to serve. So the meaning of spirituality, ancestral bloodline. So you're taking spirituality, the ancestral part of it, and then you're adding a DNA process and a collective awakening. It's an individual choice of what a spirit makes a decision on. So the meaning of the heart is like what the heart chooses to serve, how it decides that is. It's not a liquid material that's in your DNA that decides what origin you are. Because we make free will choices of this. So that's that 3D process where they try to put you in categories. Don't go by that. That's why you go with that process of the black sheep in the family that makes that independent choice to serve humanity or serve the light. So it's pushing that aside and saying that really doesn't matter. If that makes sense to you.
Works for me. Hopefully that answered their question. Okay.
Okay, go to the next.
Next question. What should the collective understand about unusual celestial or atmospheric events being noticed right now? And that's, for example, we've got, you know, certain asteroids that came in and such.
Okay, repeat it again.
What should the collective understand about unusual celestial or atmospheric events being noticed right now?
Because everything is focused on this world, and this is a part of the process that needs to happen to create and for the universe to create goodness and to bring in the golden age. So all atmospheres, plasma, water, environment, nature has to basically come up to a higher grade of understanding. We're not in that 3D density, so everything has to change and evolve. That is painful because we reside in information that we know from the past, and now that has to change into information that is new to you, new ideas, but also creates thinking independently and trusting what you're feeling and having instinct on.
Okay, thank you. By their choice, can those humans who took ongoing flu and COVID shots have all nanotech compromised immune systems, vagus nerve removed, regenerated by medbeds or other advanced tech?
So when something like that goes into the physical body and goes into the DNA in the 3D, and it's like tentacles spreading everywhere, and then damage is spreaded everywhere, and then it's not of the free spirit anymore. It is taken over by another, basically an entity or another component. When that gets to a certain point, that personality is not the same person no more. They're not reacting in the same as the same person. They are not themselves, and you don't recognize that person. So what I'm hearing and what I'm sensing, that has to be something that's basically can remove all of it, dismantle all of it, and return it back to its original form. It would have to be a medbed process. You can dismantle it to a certain phase, with positive and negative, but to completely remove it, it's going to have to be the med beds.
Okay, thank you. Next question. How will opportunities to support those affected by poverty and homelessness begin to open in the next phase of collective change?
Can you repeat that again?
How will opportunities to support those affected by poverty and homelessness begin to open in the next phase of collective change?
This is the thing when I go into like the sun and the frequency that changes on earth and makes us humble and understand that we're all collective together and all the money system and everything's connected because this world had to change as one together. So those levels of poor, rich, mid class, that whole phase of that has to be dismantled. But most of all, the reality of it, the Jubilee is part of that reality because that's the enslavement energy. It's not just um, a control mechanism, it's an enslavement. It's like literally you um, breaking the chains spiritually. And when that comes off, the freedom in the mindset changes. But they also don't feel they're undervalued by understanding that it's not a money system and working off anymore. It's the whole spiritual being. The value is the being. The value is what the human does is serving. If it has everything that it is needed, and it has those opportunities, and it has those choices, the whole body, the whole spirit changes. And its capability because it feels like it is not unlimited. So, for humanity to be presented, and so they have housing in a very humble way. Their food, their housing is taken care of. Just the things in life that we on this planet are born to just have freely, and that is taken care of. And when they have that, what you're going to notice with humanity, when everybody has that, then after everybody is assessed with having that, they all want to give because they all want people to feel the same way about serving and giving. So that transformation of understanding that you're not going to be in a panic mode of worrying about bills or jet or debt, or that you are lower class, mid class, or higher class, then you will look around and understand what will be given choices to you to decide on your own how you will serve humanity, how you will create. Nothing will be taken away from you. And this is the thing that Trump was telling you, that the negative will not get nothing from this. They will not get abundance. They will not be taken care of. They can't have nothing. And that was the thing about annihilating all the negative components and all the negative programs because the enslavement is over for them. And then your fruits can create and share among humanity.
Okay, thank you.
That's the long version they're saying.
Oh, okay. Next one is a bigger question. Are the keys that Jenny talks about related to the keys in the book, The Sophia Code? Do they relate to the Golden Sophia Dragon? And are the keys being discussed connected to a larger collective awakening pattern? And what do they unlock for humanity?
Okay, so Spirit's like, let's go into how the keys were created. When I first did the first design of the keys, it's like levels inside a circle. And each one, when an event happened, one of those levels would fall off. So control of mind of humanity fell off. Control of the money, sickness in the world. All this was the beginning of the keys. All these events had to happen. So all these events happened when I first designed the keys. Then they said the phase 2, after all those events, then these keys would be upright. And there would be 5. On each 5 layers of the keys, then each one creates a council of light, an energy, a source. And each level means something that carries an energy, that carries a council of light. And the first one is a female, and you can look it on Instagram where it has a circle of females in a circle motion. In the center is an energy, and it has different females around that energy, and that is connected to the Sophia energy. That energy has to be recreated in this world. That love, that abundance, what that was suppressed for so long in this situation. So that's the first key. The female energy has always been that first one that has to be recreated. And by each female, there are 2 animals of the kingdom for each guardianship around them. And it shows that on Instagram too. Now, the second level has to do with a higher collective. And then we go into advance of looking at things that are not of a human flesh form. They're of the light being, of the light of the heavens. And so these levels keep going up, and each one finally it goes up to the higher kingdom. So all these events had to happen. So these keys would line up. And now they will circulate and they create an energy that was always a part of this process that we're going into right now. Repeat the question again.
That's okay. Are the keys that Jenny talks about related to the keys in the book The Sophia Code? Do they relate
Yes.
to the Golden Sophia Dragon? And are the keys
Yes.
that are being discussed connected to the larger collective awakening pattern? And what do they unlock for humanity?
And all are attached to a light that goes from floor to floor to floor to floor. And that creates that abundance of creator, of light, of God. And that is the strongest energy. And so when each level is completed, and we go through, say, the 7 seals, and then in that process, each level is completed, it creates its own energy and it creates its own force that is a part of the Golden Age.
Okay, thank you.
And those pictures of the keys are on the Instagram.
Yes, they are. Pretty much everything's on Instagram. Right. Okay. Let's see. Sorry again, dealing with silver monitors here. Okay, here we go. Are your rivers run red prophecies in US, Australia, Antarctica actually massive focused rain events replenishing, flooding Gaia's surfaces and or drowning malevolent energy beings underground?
So when it was presented to me in the way that I did not want to do it, because I was resisting this download, this one, and they know it, because it was formed in a way of having me look at a view in Antarctica. And they said that this is a value and this has been guarded for a long time, but there are two values um, that it creates. It'll be all over the world. This was just, and it can take many forms. So it can take a form in the sky and it can take a form in water, and then it would form all over. And that for some reason, negatives would want to contain this. So there's a power and a source behind it being presented now. So it is connected because this is going to be spread all over the world. And, but it was interesting to see it in around ice first, and then forming into how deep the color was, and then forming into a water, but then also forming how could it be this form being in air quality and showing that. And when that happened, and then you started seeing this red stuff in the air and no one knew what it was, I was like, gotta be kidding. How is this forming that way? What was the name they called it? That they were calling it in the air that we saw, 2 years ago?
Oh, I don't recall. I'm sorry. Maybe someone in the chat knows.
Because it showed in Antarctica first.
Right.
And then it showed over Antarctica. And then, so that energy, like I formed, like I talked about the pink energy, and how that energy, those clouds, those pink clouds are about the calmness that comes, to bring calmness, to bring the end, to make it, you feel abundance and light. That's what the pink's for at the end. And then the red is about the strength and about form of change. And these are the signs that are coming. If that makes sense.
Yes, thank you.
Probably not, but oh well. They're saying.
I get it. If not, they can rewatch. Okay, here's another one. How should the collective understand the relationship between the 3D and 5D split and the physical world dangers during this transition?
So the 3D and the 5D is a path. When you have walked in the storm and saw everything for truly what it is, and thought on your own, and think this process on your own, your soul is residing the difference between what is truly the truth and what is not. Or 3D process, they're still asleep, they're still stuck, they're still feeling that as a reality, and that they are enslaved and they are controlled. They're still, and it's the treadmill, they keep going around and around. What's the saddest point about waking up in the 5D and looking in a different view is we know we're limited now. They're limiting us. They're imprisoning us. They're stopping us. And I was watching, Spirit told me to watch the Truman Show the other day, and I never watched it before. And at the end of where he gets to the end and he realizes it wasn't real, and you're stuck, that wall, and that's the end. And there's a lot of us that we're realizing, we're waking up that there's an end to this process, because that we can't access an area that we want to get to. And that's when you realize in the soul you were imprisoned, and all the things that they will want to try to entertain you with and want to confine you with, and it's not enough anymore. The mind has to go further. The mind has to flourish. And there's a sadness about being limited in the conscience. And now we do not want that, and we're going to fight for the freedom. Even as we look at death is better than being imprisoned in this system. What was the question?
How should the collective understand the relationship between the 3D 5D split and physical world dangers during the transition?
So the danger is not understanding the reality, not understanding that you've been imprisoned, not understanding that you've been on the treadmill. And they had the keys. And now we have a choice to break this system, this matrix system, and know that wall is just a barrier that we have to break. But there's a lot of us out there that we are determined that we're going to get on the other side of that whole process because we're tired of this. We figured out the whole game and we're done. So.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. What should the collective understand about the timing and unfolding of mass awakening and public disclosure?
Repeat again, they're saying.
What should the collective understand about the timing and unfolding of mass awakening and public disclosure?
Because everything has to do with not time. It has to do with taking in the true information and seeing it, and humanity understanding the lesson unfolding. The lesson is to not make the mistakes again. The lesson is listening to nature, watching our world react to things changing. The lesson is the perception of paying attention and sucking in the information that things were wrong on the system. This was not supposed to be the way it is now. From the beginning, it was hijacked. That some system wanted to play God, wanted to be God, wanted to act as God. And so, if I had to say, looking at tomorrow and saying what's going to be done, what's going to happen next, is you're here for a reason to witness this truth at this time. And your soul is supposed to take it all in. So that's the most important part. The end is coming. And you know who knows this? They do. The ones who did all this. Their end is faster. Because they know they made a mistake. And they know they have nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. All you have to do is be the witness and bear the truth. They have no place to hide. They have no place to go. They chose to sell their soul.
Okay, thank you. Next. What major collective changes are coming to the United States over the next several years, especially around technology, healing, and movement? Movement as in travel.
Because we've been enslaved to a system that has probably had technology for 100 years. And now, as Texas becomes this higher technology facility, that rings in that truth that's coming. And you see launching pads made. You see drones that are in like big buses that travel. You see the way you look at your screen and TV is going to change as everything feels like you're interacting in it and walking through it. So the higher technology of travel, the trains, but they're not even understanding the train systems that are above. They're thinking they're in the ground, they have to be on a rail. They do not. There's different types of systems that are coming in. So when all those are funded in a humanity process to fund that, then the floodgates are just waiting for all this to go force 110 miles an hour. It's not going to be a slow rollout on that. What was the question again?
What major collective changes are coming to the United States over the next several years, especially around technology,
So I would
healing,
not
and
buy a
movement?
car. I would not buy a truck because that's going to change. And that's why I suppress buying a vehicle right now on everything because um, what we think that is great now is not going to be in 2 years. We're like, well, I want to be more advanced and things. We travel faster and quicker, which is going to be great instead of taking hours to get somewhere. It's not going to be that. So the advancement of the Jetsons are here. And they're already showing that in commercials and trying to lay that out and see how you guys feel and test that in that way. So it's already forming in that way. My ultimate thing is like I tell Spirit, I'm like, I want to be in Star Trek, where I'm like, I want to go here. Now I'm just there because I don't like driving to the point things take forever to get to. So, and the replicators, food and everything, how things are replicated. So, you know that they're not poison, they're not bad, and all that stuff too. And everything can be replicated. So, that's the whole thing. And that's the thing with the home pods. Everything is contained within that home pod that you can create that and have it at your feet, right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, that technology. And then, of course, the healing pods and that how quick that would be too to those are all advancements. But this is the thing that's happening. You're going to start to see these drones everywhere all over the cities because that's a layer of reality coming in and using it for surveillance in a positive way, not in a negative way.
Thank you. Next one. What should the collective understand about Utah and the Great Salt Lake region, and why has that area been emphasized?
Repeat it again.
What should the collective understand about Utah and the Great Salt Lake region, and why has that area been emphasized?
Because there's in the Salt Lake, um, it's connected to the giants. It always has been. And so there's energy around that. There's also history around it. And if we look at it in the 3D, we don't see anything. But when you start to look at it in the 5D, you're going to start to see things change. So that's the whole thing. We're seeing this world and we think that we need to look at everything in the 3D. And when everything with the 5D process, it's like it's going to be all in front of you and you didn't realize it was even there. So our view of looking at doors that were not there, just like a matrix door that's there, we had no idea. Just like I said, above pyramids, and each pyramids of 3 together, there's a component of a space above there that man cannot see in the 3D, but if you look at it in a different view, it is there. There's a door there. So that's the whole thing. There's doors there they cannot see. So I believe that there's a pyramid there that you cannot see. And so, truth will tell. And I did a drawing of a door coming out of a mountain and an opening in that area in the mountains. And then on the Salt Lake, it's at rest. And when that awakens, when we hear the sounds that we're supposed to hear, then everything will awaken again as it did in the past.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Okay. What is happening beneath the visible instability in Europe, and what does it mean in the bigger collective picture?
What's happening beneath the visual ability in Europe, and what does it mean in the bigger picture?
This has to do with the cleanup, the elders, the refugee agenda. Apparently the 5 elder chiefs. In the past, the world would be broken down into like 5 elder chiefs. Is that also going to happen with Europe? I can add that.
Well, more of the stars. I mean, more of the higher collective, but it's not just an Earth. It's just not one region. That might be an area that you see the activity, but that is not one region that is staying isolated in. You might see something from the past reopen there, but is not going to be contained in that area.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. Okay, this is in regards to that Regulus that's up in the sky. Is there collective significance to unusual celestial shifts being noticed right now, such as changes connected to Regulus, and how should they be understood? Now that's a blue star that's supposed to be turning red when it gets in front of, I think it's something in Egypt. Hold on.
There's a blue star that's coming because it represents the golden age.
Mm-hmm.
It represents the golden age, the new abundance that's coming. So if there's a red star behind the blue star, but it is not what they claiming it is of the negative, it is of the positive. So the significant unusual shift we'll notice right away. This is, again, we have to go back to our view. What's the work you've done? What you're going to see, like I said with the 5D. A 3D person, and they look in the sky, they're going to see something different from a person that's done the work, and your body's aligned, your soul's aligned with the view above. They're going to see it different. 3D has not done the work. They don't even look at the view in the same way. They're entrapped in a certain visual. That's what I have on Instagram, where it has the red light going in another direction with the dark path. And then the 5D, you can see the view of a golden key with a golden path with light going in a different direction. So that star you'll be able to see.
Right. They're saying that I think that star too, when it gets in front of the Sphinx, as the sun rises, it's supposed to turn red. Blue to red.
They're saying it's blue.
Okay.
It would be blue. It would stay blue. It would open like plasma and rotate out.
Or plasma.
It would
Okay.
not stay in the depths of in the energy. They say pay attention to the energy of it.
Okay. Thank you. What can we expect collectively from the current solar activity affecting Earth and how it's impacting humanity at this time? All those solar flares we're getting.
So this is where we go. We talked about the sun. The sun has to change because we're going into a spring time again, and our food is not food. We have to regrow, we have to reseed, we have to replant. So at some point, what we're living in this type of sun, that's not even, it was this type of sun they have to replace. Like I've always said, there's like 3 suns that I see. And I think I'm starting to see in the morning this yellowness that's coming off the sun instead of this white negative energy. So I think that's in the process of changing. And as spring comes, to see if nature is going to look towards the direction of the sun, if animals are going to look towards the direction of the sun, and if things are basking in the sun, that tells you things have changed. With the solar activity of that, that's one of the first signs. And then the sound. There's a sound in the sky all over the world, and you've already seen people hear that certain frequency and that sound coming. That resides within all of us. It registers within all of our souls because we forgot that frequency, we forgot that sound, but now it's going to realign again, just as the same as the animals. Would I tell you the sign of the solar flare? You want to pay attention to the animals. They will come down from the mountains, they will come down from the rivers, they will come into the streets, and they will stand in a very stillness. Nature's going to respond before humans will in this process. So that stillness is important. And then, as you say, I talk about the blue star coming in at night in this process. So it's not a flash like a 3D flash that you're thinking you're going to see this flash in the sky. The flash is the sun, the new sun, creating and bringing in the abundance that it's been deprived. But also I talked about the plasma that has been deprived from us too, and that will come in waves. You're going to see blue off the ocean and then off in the air, because finally there's chemtrails are out the door finally.
Right.
So that changes. So this blue wave, and then this is the thing, and I told you in a download I did, Spirit saying the real winds, the winds from the north, the east, the west, and the south, from all the corners of the whole earth, and a freshness that will come into your soul, into your body, and you will feel it move through, and you will breathe clearly, like clear air. We're breathing crap right now.
Yeah.
Freshness. So it's all positive light, positive air. And this is the thing I talked about this. For this to happen, the negative cannot survive it. self-combust. Dust will be in the air. Remember I talked about this black particle that would be in the air, and everybody think it would be from a fire, and it's not. It's a particle. Darkness cannot survive in this type of frequency of light.
Okay. Thank you. All right, here's your next one. Does this Easter hold a larger energetic significance for Earth's rising vibration and collective change?
It holds a larger organic signification of this Earth rising. Yes. But don't go on to the dates, just go into seasons of it. It's a season of change. Spirit doesn't like dates. So the season of it. Yes, the vibration of collective energy. This is the thing I keep telling you. I keep telling people, pay attention how your heart's changing. Pay attention to this overwhelming happiness you don't know where it's coming from. Because you have to understand, the negative has been presented with a lot of loosh, a lot of negative energy, a lot of negative boxes have been presented that people are praying around. Those are in the dismantling phases of things. The bells are ringing in the frequency of the air again. The bells are ringing in the air again, in the frequency. That alone kills the loose. That alone kills the negative. That is back. Those frequencies are back. So the vibration of the collective is in a positive aspect of things now. It's lifting up again. And so what you want to look at is how your soul and your heart is reacting in a happy way instead of this extra suggestion of suppression, this abundance of light, this abundance of motivation, this abundance of being outside, this abundance of movement, of creativity. That's what you want to pay attention to, how it's going to affect the soul and affect your well-being. Motivation is the difference, because negative is a suppression. Negative loosh suppresses your energy. This gives you motivation to change, to create, to develop, to search, look, and it creates a collective of connecting instead of isolating, because COVID isolated us and suppressed it and made it worse. And now this is going to do the opposite of, instead of, this is the thing with technology and games and everything else, it isolated. It didn't bring it together. And as we know what they've done to the children, as all that is revealed, is going to bring the collective together again, to work as one together, because we were occupied with the wrong thing and we weren't paying attention what it was doing to our kids and how it was stealing them and consuming and hunting.
Yeah. Oh, we lost you for a quick second there. But you're back. Okay. Next question. Let's see. Oop. What should the collective understand about first face-to-face contact with ETs or angelic beings in the next phase of humanity's unfolding?
What does the collective understand the first face-to-face contact with ETs and angelic? You can't lie. You can't deceive them. They see you from inside out. Purity is the most important thing. Your intentions are pure. They have to be pure before they will even present themselves to you. They already know your intentions. The purity is important. Being noble is important. So there's not in us. They don't want us, like for humans, we've taught there's a secret agenda on everything, and now it's different. Everything is seen, just like AI can see everything now too. So things are changing the way um, information is presented. It'll be disclosed very quickly if you try to deceive it. In the new system, everything is on honesty. And so this old program of lying and deceiving is it's not going to work anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So the phase of it for you is to think it's what your soul wants, to be honest and present a new being or a new source. And that's honesty is how it starts face to face.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. What should the collective understand about when and how Indigo children begin remembering why they came here?
So, what should the collective understand about how Indigo children remember? Because it repeats time. They go back to when they are first here. The Pandora's box of memory is being opened. Their higher self is allowing the memory to come back. And it's almost like we always think that someone else on this earth before us did all this, hit everything, and have memories of these places, and we think it's always someone else, and it's not. The memory was erased. That's the whole thing. The memory was always erased, and now we have to go back to the memory that we had before. So they will remember where things were as they set them in the past. And now that opens up gates, it opens up doors, it opens up everything within this earth. And as they wake up and remember all of this, the negative does not want this. They can't fight this. They have no tools against the Indigo children that will remember everything. So why'd they come here? Again, it's not that they have come for the first time. They remember from the past. And they're back to open the door again.
Okay. Thank you. This one kind of goes along with it, I guess. When will the first wave of starseeds be activated, and what should we expect upon activation?
It's already happening. It's already happening. Less pain is happening. Less, the body's healing in a different way. Memory is coming in flashes, and it feels like when you're sleeping at night, you're coming through stasis of levels. We're not sleeping anymore at all. We don't crash and sleep the same way. We're going into stasis of memories, of veils, and then that activation is coming back online. So you're already they started activating them for at least for the last 2 years. And that's why we went through these temperature changes in the body, moving into the crystalline process that our body was actually made from, and going into the gold particle process that our body was made from, energy. So now we're going into these memories, and we're waking up pissed off and mad and trying to put things back together. But then there's going to be a part of this abundance of goodness too. So we're already going through these passageways again of activation. So sleep is not sleep, it is a stasis.
Okay, thank you. Next. Is it true that the dark made up a fake Metatron to mislead us from the true Archangel Metatron, which is in fact higher than an Archangel and is Divine's right hand?
I never, and they're saying never, I never hear that angel's name. I never feel drawn into that energy of that description or that name. So, and I don't think it's the power of it. And of course, we can go into timeline changes on that situation too. But if you ask me if that angel in that way is important, like Yeshua, Jesus, in that way, I don't feel that. And the thing is, these names, on how they're presented, and it depends on the language that they are in. Like I said, the English language is not the spiritual language. There's a lot of massive confusion. So the archangels, and there's are many books out there. This is what's interesting, is you see society, and they talk about only like 5 or 6 different angels. I have books, and there are levels of heavens of different angels that serve the light and the dark in different ways. But society doesn't put them out there on that information. So when your question is, did the dark fake Metatron? Well, look what the dark only brings 4 to 5 different angels in front of you. Why is that? Why are the others suppressed? That's a program on its own.
Okay.
Look up the true books of all the angels.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay, next. How are the Golden Age changes likely to unfold globally, and what larger shifts in power, identity, or control may accompany that transition?
How are the Golden Age changes likely to unfold globally? Everything that's alive, that breathes air, will change. Knowledge, and how we see things, and how our conscience pulls in things, and how we communicate. And the larger shift is energy, and the larger shift is plasma, and the larger shift is knowledge and communication. And the negative cannot survive in positive light. There's no secret hidden agenda. That's why when real love, when you see in the higher source of energy, there's not an agenda of love. There's not a limitation of love, because on circumstance, it is unconditional. There's complete love for no, it's not on certain speculations, that it has to be a certain way. That's not love. That's conditioned. Because you feel it. And that's the whole thing about this. The control is giving conditions of love. And when you feel the whole abundance, look at animals, look in the way they are, and how it is in how they take care of each other. It's within them. And humans limited that on conditions. And that's what that will change. And that's what that energy will change, and identifying that change and working with that abundance of light.
Okay, thank you. Next, you good? Okay. Is Prime Creator Source planning to step in and remove the evil ones and reset our Earth realm to be like Eden again?
Restored the way it was before. It once was there a long time ago. And so the energy, but the ultimate temperature of the tropic energy and weather will be restored again. And that's why with the inner Earth and over by the ice walls, we know that was tropic. Those were signs of this place the way it was before, under the ice. And that's why it was all hidden. And that's why we are forbidden to be in that place or to see it or perceive any of the information that's in there. They don't want us to know, because then we'll ask questions. So will it be back? Source planning to step in. It's not the source needs to step in. Truth needs to be revealed, and is already happening, and nature is already creating that. Nature's shifting and showing the truth in the skies, in the ground, in the rivers, in the dams. The cube is shifting again. And like they said, the true colors that we see are not the pure colors. What we know from here, we think these are the greens of the greens and the reds of the reds and the blues of the blues. It's not.
Yep, it'd be nice to see those colors. Okay, ready for the next?
Yeah.
All right. Is there another group of the human race with the original DNA given by the Creator who separated before Mother Gaia fell into the third dimension and density, who may be in another galaxy and are helping us with the ascension?
Okay, repeat that again so I can get the visual upstairs.
That's okay. Is there another group of the human race with the original DNA given by Creator who separated before Mother Gaia fell into the third dimension and density, and who may be in another galaxy and are helping us with the ascension? So are there other humans out there with the same kind of DNA that didn't come down here and are out there somewhere helping us? That's the way I get it.
No human. No human. Every time on that side, it's not a human. It's a spiritual being. It's a spiritual light. It's a collective of light. Human on another planet and looks like us? No.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. You said the plasma is next. Does it bring destruction and healing? And has it started?
No. It doesn't bring destruction. It brings, when you breathe in, the cells, I say the word, create off of it. You breathe in and it feels better. Your cells feel better for it. It's not breathing in garbage. You're bringing in oxidized feeling that creates your cells to rejuvenate. Everything in your body reacts to it. It's like Spirit says, from the north to the east to the west to the south, that fresh air will come in. And that's that fresh air like you feel when you open up the doors for rain that is pure again. An air that blows through you that is pure again. And a mist that moves upon you that is pure again, and sunlight that is pure again. So the plasma is this blue purity. What it does to the trees, what it does to the air, how it makes things grow. It's not poison. It's a barrier of protection and strength. But it supplements the body. Goodness.
Okay. Nice. Thank you. What should the collective be focusing on over the next few months, and what matters most in this phase?
What should the collective be focusing on in the next few months? Being outside of nature. Not inside. Planting. Gardening, regrowing food. Things are changing. Clean things are happening, like cleaning things up. Technology is changing. Everything's changing in our world. And so everybody has to contribute in a positive way and create. Creativity. Help thy neighbor in a different way and not be mad and angry and pissed off and annoyed by everything. And as that energy changes,
Okay.
that's a change.
Okay, thank you. Next question. After major system collapse or transition, how will the aligned people recognize one another and begin to come together?
After a major collapse or transition, how will the alignment people recognize each other? By the soul. By the recognition of the soul. You don't recognize a person's by the physical body because that vessel can change. It's the soul, the love and the soul that you're drawn into reminds you of memory, of knowing, of the stillness, the calmness of the light.
Ready? Next question. Humans are the only genetically created race to explore, connect with all levels of the cosmic realms in divine human form. Our calling was to help Sophia Earth. We must have a much larger role to play in the universes. What role do you see unfolding for us in the future?
Unlimited. The veil is not limited to one world, to one station, as you want to say, of creating in many places. So the answer is simple: unlimited. And free will, the desire of where you want to go and how you want to serve. Because everybody in the universe makes a choice to serve. That's what's important.
Okay, thank you. Next. What is the true nature and origin of the hidden forces that shape humanity's collective experience?
What are the true natures of the original hidden forces that shape humanity's? Okay. What is the true nature of the origin and hidden forces that shape humanity's collective experiences? Memory, conscience, veils, collective, doors, stargates, creator, the hidden force is creator. Because that voice, it's all connected inside us, that's connected to him. That's what the negative wanted to contain and have control over, and wanted to copy and try to make a cheaper version of it. And this is what you get for these, what people have in their system right now, is it was about that control. It couldn't copy it, couldn't contain it, couldn't be creator. What is the force? That is it. That is the one force they wanted, and the one force they can't have. As soon as the voice is heard, your soul will stand at attention and listen in a purity of light. It is the hidden force, but it's a voice that brings a stillness and calmness and humbleness. That is the hidden force.
Okay. Thank you. Next question. What is the true purpose of star forts, and how might humanity benefit as more of their function is understood?
Transportation in a very quick way. The true purpose of star
Forts.
ports, right?
Forts. Fort.
I don't know.
F-O-R-T. Yeah. They're
Or might be
let's see.
humanity's benefits for more of their function to understand. So the way I'm saying it is a transportation process. Transportation, not. I don't know what.
Someone said
saying
that's they're anchors of energy.
Those anchor.
Some
Well,
I
an
don't
anchor
know.
of energy for. I'll move this around in my head in a different way. The true purpose of the anchors might humanity benefit from more of their function. Everything's dimensional. Information, history could be brought in very quickly. Understanding the universe can be brought in very quickly. A collective working with the universal process could be brought in for abundance of sharing and educating.
Okay.
It's not about containing at all. It's about teaching, learning, growing. That's what it's about. So the energy, honoring, sustaining, developing.
Okay. Thank you.
Start. It's just that name. They're like, no, it's not the name.
Yeah, maybe it is a different name. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like, no.
Maybe that's what it's called here, but all right. Let's see. We're winding down. We're at 1 hour 22. How you holding up?
I'm good.
Okay.
I got a little bit of head trauma going on, but you go ahead.
All righty. This one. Paste. What hidden structures or agendas are now weakening, even if most people do not fully see it yet?
Loosh. Control. Boxes that sustained like a lifeline to suck your life out of you. Prayer that was submitted, giving your energy to something that used it for the wrong intention. Agenda. Religion. Control religion. It's losing its control. And because people are looking outside the box and they're looking within themselves for the true answers instead of a mortal to tell you what is right and what is wrong. The answers reside within us. So the structure of the agenda of the religion is falling apart. And what that does, it creates abundance when that falls. Because the true light is shown within us. And our true ability of who we are will open up. And control and ego will be gone.
Okay. Thank you. This one kind of goes along with it. Let's see. Sorry, wrong one. This is moving so fast. What should the collective understand about how corruption in leadership is being addressed behind the scenes?
Okay, hold on 1 second. She's freaking out. Hold on. Okay, repeat the question.
What should the collective understand about how corruption in leadership is being addressed behind the scene?
What's the corruption understandable? You were misled. You were lied to. You were denied the truth from birth. You were enslaved from the beginning. You did not have free will. The minute you were born, they stamped you and enslaved you. And they made you believe a fantasy. The dreams could come true by their rules and their regulation. And now that is all collapsing because they were the ones that lied and stole from you, your soul. And they must pay for that. So, it was from the beginning, all the way to people that passed on and died and thought that there was always hope in retirement. There was never enough, because by the time that you got old, your body was tired and wore out and had no strength. And that was the system built on doing that, to age you quick. You were just sheep to them.
Okay, thank you. How should the collective understand relational changes when people are no longer aligned on the same path?
How should the collective understand the rational changes? You let go. You do not reside with this not. Don't reside with, you can't change. You can't change it. You can't force it. You can't demand it. They chose free will to take a different path. You can't force that upon a person because you can see different from them. As Spirit says, you have to let go. You can't force yourself to stay in a circle because your loved ones are doing the same thing over. Your soul cannot stay in that. It has to keep going forward and moving towards a direction and not walking in fear as they do. The black sheep has to start its own path. There's always a strong one.
Yep. Okay. That's why we're the strong ones.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay. Why is creator intervention or acceleration being felt more strongly at this time in the collective timeline?
Why is creators' interventions accelerating, being felt more stronger at this time? Because people are awake. They're not looking down at their feet anymore. They're not looking at the phone anymore. They're paying attention to the environment. They know that the world is changing. There's no place you can hide from no more. You have to face reality.
Mm-hmm.
It's accelerating because the truth is being seen. And time is being bent.
Okay, thank you.
It's our conscience is changing.
Mm-hmm.
And recognize the enslavement.
Okay, thank you very much. What larger shifts are unfolding in places like Ontario? And what should people understand about the next phase collectively?
What are the larger
there?
shifts unfolding in places in Ontario? What is the next? Ontario was never going to be a hard one to. I mean, Canada was never going to be hard to dominate and be as a region of us. The collapse overnight. It's going to collapse overnight. And as you're seeing other countries in the streets and taking back their region, so it'll happen overnight. Freedom will be, you'll be breathing that in and feeling the spirit of it.
Okay, thank you. What should the collective understand about the possibility of renewed control measures? And how should people discern what is true? For example, like lockdowns, vaccines, things like that.
Renewed control measures. Why do you think there's going to be renewed control measures? Control measures.
Like lockdowns, things like that.
I know, but those are, it's the military operation, and that's only for a certain amount of time. And the thing is, when you act appropriate and you understand what's going on and you don't cause chaos in a scene and understand that this is part of the process, there's not going to be, it's a free will. We're back to our sovereignty. You're going to be able to react in the sovereignty. So what is true is you thinking on your own, but following the guidelines that are simple, respectful, and true. And then the control measures are going to be presented. So whatever you want to call them, guidelines, the military is going to put that out there and you follow those guidelines. But it's not to confuse you. So it's not, we're not going back, we're going forward in a more positive way of control.
Mm-hmm.
So we can create in the future, and so things can create better fruits for us and help humanity.
Okay.
Okay, I need to do 3 more because my head's starting to hurt.
About 3 more? Okay, we don't have too many more anyway, so. Okay, here we go. In northern New Hampshire, we used to have a rock face called the Old Man of the Mountain. It fell several years ago, but I always felt there was something under that mountain that he was marking the spot for. Is there anything there holding significance for the collective?
I see like I don't know if you saw it, a spear or something out of the ground. They call it sword in the stone kind of thing. That's what I feel. But larger, and not in that sense of that it's a spear. There's something that's in rock, and then the other part of it is a different material. It's looks up, straight up. That's tall. Beneath.
Okay, thank you. There we go. This might seem like a little bit of a repeat, but why not? Let's see. Make the last one.
Huh?
We can make this the last one. Okay, how should the collective understand embodiment and physical form in 5D transition? If we are in 5D, do we have a physical body, or is that gone and live like a spirit, like a ghost?
Okay, so 5D is it's a view of how you hold and sustain information. So you can see the view of the 3D and you can see the view of the 5D. But for them, they only see you in the 3D process. So you can see in two views, they only can see in one. You can see outside of this, they cannot. They see you only in one form, just like we see angels in one form. For them, for 3D, it's only one interpretation. For us, we can see both views of information. Because our mind and our conscience is accepting those paths, that they are different and they are divided, but we understand that and you can work among both of them.
Okay.
So is there a physical? This is the thing, as creator says, they show us their form as they think that our conscience level can accept it. So your veil of understanding, showing yourself to them, is what their conscience can accept. So your vessel would change.
Okay.
It depends on the veil that is looking at you. And that's why people see Jesus as this white guy. They don't see his original form of the light, of the form of the light, because they're not at that veil of understanding they can accept that yet. Because they are different veils of understanding.
Okay. Thank you. We are at an hour 40.
Really?
Yes, we are. Do we want to take a moment for the bell for the children? And
yes, we do. Yes, we do. So we'll do more of this. It just it stresses, and it doesn't stress. It just feels exhausting when I do this. And I haven't had to put this on at all tonight, which is telling you this solar flare stuff is adding energy to it.
Right.
So yeah. So this has been interesting. So now they kind of see things. They haven't been too theatrical about things tonight, but yeah, just wanting to get through these questions. So I'm gonna go for the bell.
Okay, guys. We'll take a moment for the bell for the children.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was a long. Yeah, I'm feeling it. Sorry. So it's much appreciated by everyone.
Yeah. So we'll set this up again and we'll set up another session. I'm sure I'll be on there Sunday. So this is just a demonstration and showing you how it works. So, but I would tell you to watch the water, like I've been saying, and how it comes in different, and how the air changes, and how you feel, and how you're thinking and processing and feeling. This burst of different energy and feeling rejuvenated. Pay attention to that in a different way. The good stuff is starting to come. There's a lot of negative naysayers out there, but the good stuff is starting to show. You just got to be paying attention to it. So anyway, you guys have a good night. Stay in the light. Talk to you soon. Good night.
Okay. Good night, guys.